Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name, as always, is Bloodstained Wings, and today is our monthly palette knife painting challenge. And as it happens, it's also my birthday month. So today I thought we could do a cute little painting of a present. As you can see, I kept the colors very simple with just some reds and blues. There's actually Alizarin Crimson, Quinacridone Violet, Prussian Blue, and Phthalo Blue, as well as Titanium White being used in this. And I had a lot of fun. I did do a gesso painting of a present beforehand, so if you guys want to do that right now, please feel free to do so. But if you're ready and you've got your palette knife, then let's paint. So, as you saw, we are going to be doing a palette knife painting challenge. I'm so excited. I feel like I haven't done a palette knife painting challenge in way too long, so we're doing it. Even though I know it's only been a month, that it feels too long. I think it's because all the paintings I did for my Patreon rewards, none of them were palette knife heavy, and so I feel like I need more palette knife paintings in my life all the time. So that's why we started doing this. Alright, brush down. I do have a liner brush available should I need it. I don't know what I'll need it for, but I have it. I also have a blendy brush. I also think I'm going to, no, I'm not. So I've got some colors down on my palette here. I've got white, Alizarin Crimson, Quinacridone Violet, Phthalo Blue, and Prussian Blue. So my plan right now is to kind of do the bow area in the purple red kind of stuff, and then have the box in blue. You know what I should do? I should plan this whole thing out with the paints first. I'm gonna use the white as a highlight, but first I will plan the colors out. So I'm going to start with the red, and I'm just going to plan these colors out, and then I will go in with a palette knife to like really firm them out and make them look really textured and fun and funky fresh. So that's my plan. So I think I'm going to start with red up here. And then I'll move to the purple like in here. And I'll just kind of blend these together so that it ends up being like a nice blend. So this is Alizarin Crimson. If anybody wants to know which red I'm using, it's Alizarin Crimson. Alizarin Crimson is probably my favorite red. I do like using other reds as well. Like cadmium red. Cadmium red is really good, because it pops on black really well. Where Alizarin Crimson, because it's so transparent, doesn't really, it's not really vibrant on black canvases. But that means that Alizarin Crimson is really good for like galaxy paintings, but if you want to have like a creepy forest, you definitely want to get that cadmium red for that. And that's okay. You can use whatever you would like. I'm just going to get that nice and red on the top. And I'm going to get the other one over here, a little red on the top. I'm going to switch to the smaller brush. I'm going to go over with a palette knife, and it's probably not going to maintain these borders anyways, but the idea here is that as much as possible, I'm going to be kind of sticking to my shapes that I've got on here, as much as possible, because it's going to help me when I'm doing the palette knife stuff, to have that like body of reference, essentially. Because palette knife kind of takes over, and then, you're left with, like, not a lot of things to go by, and then you're just like, woo, palette knife. But if you want something more than that, you're gonna want to try to keep these as much as possible thin down for your first layer, just while you're planning out where things are gonna go, what colors are gonna go where. Let's get some of this purple in the dark areas up here. This purple ended up being a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be, so I'm just gonna use it as my dark color, and then I'll go over with white to like highlight everything. But for now, we're gonna blend it with the red and use it in our dark spots. There we go. Now, again, it doesn't matter all that much, but that looks really good already, and I'm very proud of it, even though we haven't really done anything, which is the best. That's what you want. I think I'm going to go back to the red for these guys over here. There we go. And approximately in place is fine, which is great. And then this is also a ribbon. I'm going to do that with the small brush. It's too small. Just go in with the small brush and lay that in. There we go. Now I did do a gesso layer underneath, which you can see that I did. I'm not going to hide that I did that. And that is to make sure that I know where things are. I have an idea of things. Boxes and stuff, they like to be straight lines, right? Right. This part here has to be the red to purple situation. So I'm going to get the red nice up in here. Like so. And then I'm going to use the purple, I think, in the middle section, and then go back to the red for the bottom section. So that it's kind of like I'm just using the purple as the shading, which is a brilliant idea that I came up with on the fly while I was painting this. So that's one of the things that you can do in your paintings when you are painting these things. If you see something that you're like, you know, this is a good idea, do it. Live that good idea lifestyle. Do it up, because that's how your paintings become more you. Unless, you know, whatever your reference was or whatever your idea was, it's gonna be more, or whatever your inspiration was even. Like, so there's a lot of times where like I get inspired by other people's paintings, but I'm like, you know what? This painting is beautiful and stuff, but it needs a river like right here. Why is there no river here? So then you can feel free to do it yourself and put that river there. And then you're like, ah, there we go. Now it's got that river. A lot of the times with Bob Ross paintings, he puts paths in places, and I'm like, no, it absolutely should have been a river. That's a thing that happens a lot, where I'm like, Bob, no, you're wrong. So I feel like the need to give him rivers in his paintings. All right, I'm going to go to the Phthalo Blue. Now, once again, Phthalo Blue is much, much, much stronger than the red. Much stronger. So I don't have to clean my brush, which is amazing. But just keep that in mind for, like, you know, when you're doing things, that if you're ever like, oh God, it's so dark and it's so strong, what do I do? I warned you. I warned you. This was your official warning. You have been warned. Phthalo Blue, very, very strong. All right, Prussian Blue, even stronger. If you can believe it, it's even stronger. There are blues that are not as strong as Phthalo Blue and Prussian Blue. Indigo Blue, for example, is not as strong a blue. I don't like them as much. I think that these blues are prettier because they are much more intense, and I love their intensity. I love that they were like, I brought it, and you're like, yes, thank you. I needed you to bring it, and you absolutely did. And they were like, yes, yes, I did. And I appreciate that about them. I have to say, now that it is April, it is starting to get warm. We're starting to get sunshine. We can like go outside for walks and not have to worry about snow and snow piles. And it is just chef's kiss the best. I love it. I am so here for it. And not just me, like everyone I talk to on any kind of anything. Like go to the gas station, get your gas, and that person's like, oh, thank God it's spring, right? And everyone's like, yes, thank God it's spring. I know, I feel the same. And we're all like, yes, we feel the same. So once again, this is gonna have a little bit of the darker color in there, and that I'm gonna use the Prussian blue to do. And then when I do this all with a palette knife, you'll really get to see the difference on these things. Get that in there. There we go. And then this is kind of like this. And then like that. And the same through here. Kind of like this. I'm just planning out where I'm going to be putting things. This is not an important step, but it is also an important step. You don't have to do this step is what I'm trying to say. You can, in fact, skip this step. But the idea behind this step is to make sure that you know what colors are going where. So you have a better idea of it, so you're not just like guessing willy-nilly. It also helps when using a palette knife, because if you miss a spot, you know that you got it like covered underneath, so it's okay. If that makes sense. Just darkening up that. A little bit of that. See? See, and you can really see how much darker that phthalo blue or the Prussian blue is than the phthalo blue. You can really get an idea of that now. Just gonna pull this down and blend the two together. But it's like really dark in comparison, so that makes it lots of fun. Now I have done many present paintings in the past. The reason I'm actually doing this is because April is actually the month of birthdays in my family. Like a lot of people in my family are born in April. And so I felt like doing a present would be a good idea. As I think about everyone in my family and their birthdays and you know what day is what. This might actually go up on somebody's birthday. I'm not sure. Haven't looked at a calendar, but it might. This might go up on somebody's birthday. And if it is your birthday today, please feel free to say so in the comments and happy birthday. In my family, we have a tradition of singing the New Kids on the Block version of Happy Birthday in as terrible a voice as you can possibly do. Don't try to do it good. You gotta do it bad. That's the point of it, is to do it bad. And it's really fun. Do you guys have any birthday traditions that are really funny like that? If so, please leave them in the comments. I would love to read about your family birthday traditions, because sometimes birthday traditions are hilarious and the best. I personally think that our tradition of the New Kids on the Block song is very funny, but not everyone does. A lot of people find it just really annoying. Okay, we now have a box. Look, box, it's beautiful. Let's mess it up. Okay, I definitely want this box to be lighter than it is, but I really like the darkness of the bow and stuff, so I'm pretty much going to keep the bow being this Alizarin Crimson. I'm just going to add texture to it, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to the highlighted areas, just like a smidge. I'm not even going to blend it on my palette knife. I'm just going to come in and be like, wee, to have like a little bit of white through there, like that. I'll come in with a little bit of the white, add it through there. There we go. Try not to mix them too much. There we go. And a little bit. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use my smaller palette knife. My palette knife that's not actually a palette knife. It's for sculpting, actually, technically. But it's fine. Just add a little bit of white as like a highlight through there. A little smidge of one over here. There we go. There we go. And then we have just like the smidgen of highlights through the whole thing. It's already giving it like a lot of texture and a lot of life. So I'm really excited to try to move on to some of the purple here, the quinacrium violet. We're gonna get some of that going through here to like shade the little top parts. So they end up like that. Oh my gosh, this looks really cool. Whatcha? All right, and then we're gonna shade the like dark area under here. Looking good. I'm gonna use my smaller palette knife to get in that little, I'm gonna snooge right into that little hole. Are these real words? No, but that's okay. Oh no, I touched the white. That's not what I wanted. There we go. But we can fix it. Yes, excellent. Everything is looking much more textured, which is great. I'm going to go back into that purple and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the red just to give it like both of those colors and try to apply some of this like texture to the bow where it's going to be all like crunkly and crinkly. There we go. Yeah. So it's got like a lot of texture and life. There we go. And then I can come in with some, just the regular red to do this part here. So it has just a little bit of extra texture. Same with this one here. Doot. So gentle. Okay. And then I can do that over here as well. There we go. And I want to do the same on the bottom coming up. Goodness, ever so gently with it upside down and in the most awkward position possible. So that's important. Okay, now we can go back to the purple. Filling in the purple, just going to try to blend it a little bit. Not overly, but a little bit. And then now I can go back with this one. There we go. Nicely done, nicely done. You can see just like a little bit of that texture coming through, giving it a little life, a little feeling. This is what we're looking for. Back to the red. I just come in and make sure this side part has some of that. There we go. On this side too. Don't forget this side. Excellent. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of that white. And I'm going to come down and highlight just a smidgen like that. Just to give it that little shine. Yes. Okay, this is looking really good so far. I really like this. Okay, let's mix the phthalo blue with some white so that way it is both colors. So I'm going to take a smidge of the blue and a bunch of the white, and I'm actually blending it. So this is a much lighter and brighter blue color, and I can come in here and add that in, and it really lights up, which is great because that's what I was looking for. And we're going to take a little bit of it and pop it up there. And get it down on that part. Pop it up here, pull down. Really gently pop it in right there. And then just on this side of the box, coming in like that. And in here. Oh, I got some of the blue on the ribbon. That's bad. That's okay. This is what happens when you use a knife that's way too big for the area that you're working. You end up making mistakes, and that's okay. It's no problem if you make a mistake. That's one of the great things about painting that I really found enjoyable. That, like, if you make a mistake, it's okay. It is okay. You can, in fact, make a mistake, and it's fine. There is no problem. No one's gonna die. It's not gonna cause like some bridge accident and there's gonna be like children on fire. None of that. There's none of that. No one's gonna be scarred for life because, you know, you looked at them the wrong way. I mean, you were painting the wrong way. None of that is happening. This is just a pleasant little painting. Happy little lines. This is just shaping, essentially. I'm just like doing this, essentially. I'm not even doing anything, really. All right, I'm gonna go into that Prussian blue. I'm gonna add a little bit of white. Not a lot. This one's not a lot of white. And then we're gonna come in here and sneak in a little texture. Oh, that was too much. This is what I mean about it being too much. Okay, we're gonna stop using the big brush. Stop using the big brush. That's okay. Just gonna do this. See? It's fine. You wouldn't even notice. Totally fine. I'm gonna come in with the small brush. This is not a brush. This is my palette knife. There we go. And just add a little texture to this. I think I like it just being Prussian blue, and I think I'm gonna stop using the mixture with white. I think I'm just gonna go straight up into the dark blue and just really embrace the dark blue. I'll just come over top of this and just kind of lay it in. Because I think that my problem with it being too dark was all in the because I didn't have the highlights on the other part yet. There we go. Coming in with the palette knife. Fixing things. There we go. That looks better. There we go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. So now everything just looks like a lot darker in the places where I want it to look darker, which is exactly what I want. Come in and lay that in. And some more of that over here. And now this is very, very, very thick paint. It is going to take a long time to dry. And that's okay. I just want to let you guys know that. So that you know, in case you're like, oh, I want to do a painting along with her. That's wonderful. I would love for you to do a painting along with me. Just please make sure you have a place where you can lay this to dry for like 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks. Don't get mad at me that I didn't tell you that it's going to take 2 weeks to dry, okay? The goop does help with it to dry faster, but nothing's going to help with it being this thick paint, so you just have to acknowledge sometimes that when you're using thick paint, it's going to take a long time to dry. Try to smooth this out a little bit better. There we go. Much better. Excellent. I am happy with that. I think it is really nice, very primary colors. I mean, it's just red and blue. I was trying to get it to have the purple in there, but I think that it looks better just as the purple, as the shading, even though it just still looks like, it still looks like red. I think maybe I'm gonna come in with a little bit of white, actually, just straight up white on its own, and just do some little highlights on the top of here, just to kind of reflect the amount of sunlight we have coming in on the rest of it there. So we'll have just like smidgens of it. touching all the light areas. Everywhere the light touches. Oh, that was just a little bit it needed. Well, thank you for joining me today. That was relatively fast, given that most of the painting was just me being like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll just smooch this color in here and smooch this color in there. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun. If it's your birthday this month, happy birthday. It is my birthday this month, although my birthday was earlier this month. So I hope that you guys had a wonderful time. And I will catch you guys next. But before we go, just want to say a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for continuing to support me through all of the times that we are going through. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And please remember that you are loved and you deserve to be loved. And I'll catch you guys next week.